and we're going to talk a little bit about. And we're here with Irma Aguilera. She also does a show at BCAT. And, well, what did you hear about it?
About the Superbook.
About Superbooks? You know what? That's an even better book. Okay,
About
Superbooks is a show that is not about books, which is kind of
mm,
interesting. I just named it the Superbook Show because I happen to
oh,
like the sound. I happen to believe that books change people's lives, especially good books. And so that seemed like a good name for the show. A lot of times we'll have entertainment, we'll have interviews with people, we might have interviews with authors. So that's where the Superbooks comes in. And other times, well, you just never know what you'll see on Superbooks. Like today is a day we might talk about a few books. I have one book that I'm really interested in. It's called Pulling Your Own Strings, and it's a book by Wayne Dyer. You can see it on your screen there. It's called Pulling Your Own Strings. And what it's about is, have you ever had a situation in your in your home or in your life where you felt like you want to do something, but you're with someone else and you're not able to get your point across, and you wind up doing what the other person wants you to do?
that's right.
So does that ever happen to you?
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
So maybe it might have been when you were younger with your parents, it might have been with teachers, it might have been with anybody in your whole life, and you're sitting there and you go like, "Okay, I really didn't want to do that." You know, like when you go to a party and people are serving you food and you want to be polite and you want to eat what kind of food they have, but you don't feel like eating.
Even
Or maybe you're allergic to
you
it,
don't like.
or you might not like it. And what do? A lot of people, your average person would go like and try the food and eat the food, even if it would make them sick, even if they were allergic, because they would not want to offend a person.
Right.
We need to start a food revolution. And the food revolution we need to start is that if we know that a food is not good for us, if we're allergic to it, or even if we don't like it, or if we're not hungry, the revolution we need to start is that we need to be able to say no. And we need to be able to say no and not feel like if the other person is insulted, that insult is coming from inside of them.
It's right.
It's like we're not trying to insult them, we're not insulting them, but they're taking it personal because of what society demands that we do. So that's what pulling your own strings is about. Pulling your own strings is about doing what you want to do, not being a puppet on a string. It's about having no one else control you in personal or non personal decisions that you make. Another book that we're talking about is called Wear Sunscreen. And I love that little book because it's a little gift book. And it's a kind of book you get for somebody who doesn't read. Because you know those books that have a line here and a line there and a picture here and there. And it's not a book that you have to pick up and read like 600 pages of the book. That's called Wear Sunscreen. And we're going to show you that book. And while we're showing you that book, we might read a little bit from Pulling Your Own Strings. So that's the Wear Sunscreen book on the screen there that you're seeing. Now, Wayne Dyer is what his book is about, Pulling Your Own Strings. It's dynamic techniques for dealing with other people and living your life as you choose. You know what? Most people wait until they're like 60 or 70 or until they retire to do what they want.
It's right because they don't want to offend
Right.
nobody else.
Right. So you have
They are
to.
like scared, like
Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh. And tell me more. Keep talking. What has been your experience in life?
Well, that's happened to me a long time ago.
Uh huh.
I used to go to parties, to activities, and I when they serve the food, I eat. But then I say I don't like it, but I have to eat it.
Uh huh.
Why I have to eat when I don't like
Uh
the
huh.
taste of the food or food that I am not I don't eat.
So
You know, and
what kind of food have you tried that you
vi-
really didn't want to eat?
like vegetables. So
Vegetables.
vegetables.
Wow.
Some I like, some I don't.
Uh
You
huh.
know, and these people was from another um, country,
Uh-huh.
and they have some like vegetables. How you say vegetables that I don't knew that.
Like a bok choy or
Yes,
something
and
like a Swiss chard. I don't know what that's
the
from.
taste
Hmm.
was not for me. I like to eat.
Did you try it?
Oh yes, at
You
least I
tried it?
tried because it's good to try when you don't like
Uh-huh.
food. It's
Hmm.
good to try. If you think that when you try the food you don't like it, that is good for it's good
Right.
because then you know that you cannot eat that.
Uh-huh.
See, but it's like if you have a child in the house. If you have a child in the house and you want them to eat a special food, they say, I don't like it, I don't like that.
Right.
But then maybe you say, but try. If you don't like it, don't eat.
Mm-hmm.
But at least try.
That is true.
I think is the best thing to do.
So now, at your stage in your life, what new food have you tried this week? I'll bet none.
This week, I all the food that I was eating this week um, was my special.
Oh, you're special. And what?
Yes.
Okay, so what did you have this week?
Well, I have chicken,
Uh-huh.
rice,
Mhm.
beans.
Uh-huh.
I have pork
Right.
pork chops with a lot of onions and peppers.
See, now that sounds good to you, but when you said onions,
But
I'm
I
like,
love it.
no,
I
onions.
love it.
Now,
And I cook every day different.
see, now I would make a bowl of brown rice and maybe put some black olives in it, maybe a little Parmesan cheese on top,
You see, black olive.
maybe a little tuna in it, but everything plain. No
Yes,
onions,
yeah,
no spices, no garlic.
yeah. But
But a bowl of vegetables with
yeah,
rice with
it's
no
good.
spices? That sounds really delicious. But you are going to put
Yes.
the garlic in it, huh?
Oh no, I use garlic, pepper, adobo, like
Uh-huh. I've never
every
tried that
all
adobo.
mix there.
Adobo, I've never
Adobo
tried
is
it.
everything there: garlic,
Uh-huh.
onion, pepper,
Uh-huh.
everything. And and I use oil
Uh-huh.
to cook. But I have different things every day. But I don't use like lard, you know.
Right. No
No, I
lard or
don't
fat.
use that. No.
I was just putting up the email address on the screen. If
Uh-huh.
you want to write to us about anything you see on the show, or you have questions, or better yet, write to us for our free newsletter. Now, where can you get a free newsletter? Guest or host on our future shows, write to superbooks7@yahoo.com. We're leaving that up on the screen for a few minutes. We know you have to go and get a pencil and a paper. So there you go. I'll say it slow. 7@yahoo.com. That's what else? Have there ever been other times besides in the food area where you've done something that you didn't want to do? You felt peer pressure. Probably when you were a kid, right?
When I was a kid, I didn't like the yellow flower.
The yellow flower.
No,
What do you
no.
mean, like the
So,
dandelion?
so
Or
I didn't like it.
why didn't you like the yellow
My
flower?
mother and my mother.
Oh, you mean the cooking flower?
Yeah,
I
the
thought you meant a
cooking.
flower
No,
like oh, yellow flower.
flower.
Okay, like cornmeal.
And
It's
cornmeal,
cornmeal.
cornmeal.
Okay.
And my mother used to make great
Uh huh.
dishes
Uh
with
huh.
cornmeal.
Mhm.
And I said, no, that is not for me. And then when I came here to
Yes.
to New York,
Yes.
I start eating cornmeal too. I said,
Well,
I didn't eat that in Puerto Rico, and I come here and
you can go to Boston Market. They have
oh my
great
God.
little corn muffins. You actually, I don't know if they still do this, but you actually can have pieces of corn in the corn muffins.
Yes,
Now
I
that is a good corn muffin when you can see the pieces of
the
corn in
pieces.
it. That's delicious. But not if you don't like corn.
Mm,
So
mm,
you're getting
mm.
to like it?
Well, yes. After
So what other new foods did you try since you come here?
here,
And by the way, wait a minute.
Liz,
When did you come here?
oh, 1955. and
Oh,
and
how old were you then?
uh, oh no, don't ask me, don't ask me that.
Okay.
But no, I'm not. You
So
know,
you came here in 55. Why
yeah.
did you come here?
Why?
Puerto Rico is beautiful,
It's beautiful, but I was young,
right?
and I had two kids at that time,
Uh-huh. And how old are they?
and they was a year,
Uh-huh.
and the second one was
So you
about
brought them here?
7 months.
You brought
Yes,
them here?
and I had to, to see if I get something new for my sons.
Great.
A better life for my
Okay. So
sons.
what did you do when you
That's what
got
I
here? Did
came
you have
here.
family here? I mean, how did
Yes,
you come to?
I had my mother was here,
Oh,
my
great.
brother, family. A lot of family was
Uh-huh.
here at that time, and I started studying and working, and
Uh-huh. So keep talking, and we will put the email address up there one more time so that everyone knows where to write to us. And that is superbooks7 at yahoo.com. And what I'd like to do is right now is I want you to tell me a little bit about your own show. So don't pay any attention to me. Just keep talking and let me know everything about your show.
N-
Let me know. No, let me tell
yeah,
tell us when you began your show, like how long
mm,
ago, and what your show is about.
no, but Lynn, if
Yes.
I have to tell you something, when I
Okay, tell
came
me.
here in 1955, I didn't know how to say mother in English.
You
and
didn't.
and then I started working in a factory, and was so this was funny, and I don't know, but I was hungry at
Right?
lunchtime. I went out to buy something
Uh huh.
to eat, and I saw a big line there. I get in there,
Right?
and everybody was, asking this, that, give me this,
Uh huh.
and well done. I said, what is a well done? I don't know what well done means. And everybody was asking for food,
Well done,
and
huh?
was my turn, and I was the person in front of me
Uh huh.
said, I want a ham and egg. Give me a ham and egg. Put a little ketchup. And I said, oh, when this person said, what do you want? I said, I want a ham and egg. Put me ketchup in. And then when I went outside with that, I said, oh, what is this? I don't want this.
Did
It
you
was
taste?
terrible.
Did you taste it? How you're always saying
I,
you should
I,
taste it?
I tasted, listen. Oh my God, the second day I went there again,
Uh huh.
and I said, I want a ham and egg,
Uh-huh.
ketchup. The third day, I
Uh-huh.
said, no, I don't want a ham and egg.
Uh-huh.
I want something different, but in Spanish. And then I was waiting and waiting and moving. The line was moving. I
Uh-huh.
was waiting,
Uh-huh.
and I heard this person said, yes, I want a hamburger, well done. And oh, I want a hamburger, well done.
Yeah.
and
So, what was
and
your next
but the
experience?
funny thing was that the person that was that was asking me, what do you want? He was Spanish. And
Are you
then
kidding?
said, listen to me. Me dijo in Spanish, listen to me.
Uh-huh.
Uh, you can ask anything in Spanish. You don't have to wait for nobody else.
You know what? Now that is a funny
That,
story.
that
That is
was,
really funny.
and that was true. And I said, no, I have to go and I have to learn English, but now I still learning. I still learning English,
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So tell me more. What did you have any other funny experiences when you first came here?
Well, I remember that. And another thing was that where I was working, uh, another person that was working there called me stupid for something I didn't remember, you know? And I start crying, and the supervisor came, what happened? I was crying. Said, but what happened? And I said, ella me llamó stupid. you know,
Wow.
and for me that was a big thing, Linda, because no one called me stupid, never in my life. and I was, well, I was very,
Uh-huh.
very angry. Say, why is she called me stupid. Oh my God, she called me stupid. And the supervisor was laughing and said, but why you like that? Everybody says stupid, not to me, not to me. I was thinking that
That is really
that
funny.
she called me, something very, very bad.
Wow. Now, you're in America, you're in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
You're going to hear a lot of things that you might not hear other
but
places.
it's something like it's my discipline um, since I was a child, cause I can argue with someone, but I never say a bad word. Never,
You know what? I agree with
never. I
you.
can,
I
I
agree with
can.
you. That's why Superbooks is a clean show. And we're going to go on. We have more minutes of the show. But what we'd like to do is let you know that this show is produced through the facilities of BCAT at 57 Rockwell Place, Brooklyn, New York. And we'll put that up right on the screen there. Produced through the facilities of BCAT. So tell me, what was your next funny experience when you got here?
Well,
So do you wear sunscreen? That's the name of the book that we're talking about. Wear sunscreen. It's a primer
West
for real
sunscreen.
life. It what it is it's a book about that tells you helpful hints about how to deal with life.
Oh, how?
What are your good what if somebody came here, one of your relatives comes here to America for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
what would your advice be to them? What's the first thing you tell them? Be careful of this or do that or
Mm-hmm.
don't do that. What would you tell them?
Well, it is a person that is the first time.
Uh-huh.
I should say that be careful.
Right?
Um, that everybody's not a friend,
Right?
and if they if she is walking,
Yes.
you know, to look at the city, don't accept nothing from nobody.
Don't accept anything. What do
Yeah,
you mean don't accept
don't accept
don't accept
it
what?
if they give money.
Uh-huh.
If they say, "Do you want cigarettes?" Say no.
Money and cigarettes. Okay, so you think that you're going to come here and someone's going to offer you money and cigarettes?
That's happening. Now you don't believe that. That happened.
Well, I do believe you. Yes, I
That's
believe you.
happened. Say, you know, this lady was in Park Avenue,
Yes, I do
and
believe
this
you.
was she said somebody come next to
Now, is this
her.
somebody you know or something you heard on
They,
the news?
she didn't know
She
the
didn't know.
person. This person they do you want to go and with me to have coffee?
Right?
And she said no
Uh-huh.
because I'm waiting for somebody else. And she said that he was insisting,
Right?
insist.
Right?
And say if you need money, count on me. I'm
Uh-huh.
here for
Right?
to help you.
Uh-huh.
And she was telling us
Uh-huh.
what happened. We said no, you don't. You said no. Thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
I am not, you know.
Right?
Uh, I'm not asking for anything like that.
Uh-huh.
Just I'm waiting for my family or say something that the person leave.
Ah, waiting for my family. Yeah, a lot of times here in America, what we do is we tell them if you're female, like you say, "Oh, my husband will be here soon in a few minutes."
Right, right,
Um, as soon as they hear that someone's going to meet you there, they're like, "Okay, let's get out of here."
right. Listen, and this is
Uh huh.
uh how you say
Advice
right
important.
important
Okay, so what's the important
and
advice?
true.
Uh huh.
This lady was in front of a building,
Right.
and a car stopped,
Right.
and they asked the lady,
Uh huh.
listen, I have a lotto number, I won,
Right. Right.
and the lady said, but that's what happened to me, has nothing to do with me. You won, you won.
Right.
Said no, but lady, look at my ticket when he was showing her the ticket
Right.
through the window,
Uh
car
huh.
window.
Uh huh.
And the lady that was with him
Uh huh.
grabbed her packet
Ah, I believe that. You
and
know,
they
that
left.
happens at the airport too because they figure people are coming here
You
for the
see,
first time.
things happen.
If you put your bag down next to you at the airport and you don't have your eye or your foot on it, you can pretty much
Disappear.
have it taken away. Yes, you definitely can have it taken
Disappear.
away. So, let's see. What else do we have to talk about? I'd still like to finish talking about the Wear Sunscreen book. So, what I will do is we'll talk a little bit about that, and we will be back in one moment. The book that I'm going to recommend that has nothing to do with what we talked about is a book called The Writer's Resource Handbook. This book is excellent for career assistants, even if you have writing as a hobby. What this book will show you is where the grants are and where the contests are and where the retreats are. Any information about writing probably will be in this book. It is called The Writer's Resource Handbook. You'll see it up there on the screen. And so, how old were you when you first started writing, Irma? Irma?
How old? About 7 years old.
Uh huh.
I started writing. Not I I didn't I wasn't writing poems at that time. Was a lady that her husband was very sick. Was my neighbor, our neighbor, and she didn't know how to write or read.
Right.
I was 7 years old, and she talked to my mother to see if I can help her to read the letter from her husband
Right.
and answer the letter. And I say yes. My
And you
mother's
were 7?
7 years old.
And how old was she?
And my mother said, but I don't think that she is, good enough to do that for you. And I said, oh, no, I know. And my mother said, okay. After school, when she need me, when I passed next to her house, she called me. And she said, my husband, I received a letter from my husband, and I don't know anything about. I said, give me the letter. And she gave me the letter, and I start, reading.
Uh huh.
Well, in Spanish, because they didn't know English.
Right.
And we didn't know anything in English.
Right.
And I said, well, your husband said here that he's okay, that he's taking the medicines, that they take care of him very good. Here he said that he love you, he love the kids, he missing his family, and he wish to come soon
Right.
and stay home. And she said, oh, tell him that we are okay,
Right.
that the children are fine, that we love him,
Right.
that we're waiting for him. But I said, but what do you want to tell him at the end of the letter?
Right.
And she said, oh, no, I don't know. You write whatever you think is okay. It's
Right.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, I was writing, oh, my husband, I love you so much. I wish you to come home right now. Uh,
So this
and
was your first
y-
writing, your
y-
first creative
yeah,
writing experience.
excuse me. Then I said to her, listen when I'm writing. If
Uh
you
huh.
don't like it, you tell me,
Uh huh.
and I change this. I
Uh-huh.
said, oh, my husband, I love you. I hope you fine. We are missing you. The children are growing up. The children
Right.
ask for you. Yes. And then I love you very, very much. She said, oh, I like it. I like it. One day, this lady was busy, really busy with the
Uh-huh.
children,
Right.
and she said, take the letter, read the letter to me, but answer at your way,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't have time.
Uh-huh.
And I said, I was reading the letter for her.
Right.
And then I remember I sit the stairs in front of the door because my mother said, don't get inside the house.
Right.
And I was writing, and I was telling everything about, like I was the lady.
Uh-huh.
And I was, I want to see you. I cannot go over there because it's too expensive. We don't
Uh-huh.
have money.
Right.
My father is helping us, but I want you to know that I love you. I wish you to be here with us every night. I was. My mother said, "How you writing?
Uh-huh.
How is it going?" Oh, I said, "Ma'am, I don't have. She don't have to tell me what to write to
Uh-huh.
put on the letter. I write for her. But why? What? How you do that?" I was telling my mother, "My husband, I love you." Why is that? My mother said, "That's enough. You're not going anymore." Said, "Mommy, no, I'm going over there because I'm helping the this lady." And few months later, he died. Few months later he died,
Oh my
and
goodness.
the big thing was for me
Uh-huh.
that she takes 7 or 8 cents
Right.
and say take it, for candy.
Uh-huh.
And I was no, I cannot take that.
Uh-huh.
You buy candy for your children.
Uh-huh.
I never took a penny from that lady.
Wow.
And I think that I was like not 7 years old.
Right.
For
Uh-huh.
me, I was like 14, 15 years old.
Yes.
It was so, that's my experience.
Uh-huh.
That's when I was a child.
Uh-huh.
A lot of things happened to me.
Okay, so tell me, so you're not telling me exactly what age you were when you came here, huh?
Oh, yes.
You were?
I was 19 years to 20. 19
19 years
later.
or 20. So you came here after you graduated school.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So tell me, when did you go back? When did you go back?
Oh, I go every 2 years.
That's good.
Yeah, every two
That's good.
years I go.
So when were you there last?
July, last year on July.
That's great.
Yes.
And so we are glad that you came to the Superbook show, and you can watch yourself on Superbooks on Saturday at 12:30. Time
12:30.
Warner 34. And tell me a little bit about your show. And
About my show. My show is Variedades de Nuestras Comunidades, and it's a program that we can talk about any topic.
that sounds really, really great. So I hope they watch yours too. And when is yours usually on? As specials or what?
Specials, yes.
And that sounds great. So we'll be back. This has been produced through the facilities of BCAT and Rockwell Place, Brooklyn, New York. And we'll be back with you on our next show. Thank you for watching Superbooks. Take a walk on down to the next one. So here we're looking at Christmas decorations, a nativity scene, and at the moment the baby Jesus is not in this scene because this is being taped before Christmas.